For anyone familiar with my Twitter feed or the last 4 videos I've made that nobody has bothered to watch, I'm at a weird impasse with my channel. I really want to expand into more content and more types of videos, but RWBY is the only thing people seem to care about. And I'm going to be honest, I'm starting to run out of ideas for this off season. The next Honest Look is going to be really long, and I want to cover every single thing I can about that subject, even if it ends up being an hour long, but that can take several months to finish. So here I am making a top 10 video about RWBY because these sorts of videos don't take a lot of effort. This is the top 10 worst scenes in RWBY Volume 5. If I only picked one scene per episode and then put them in chronological order, which if you can math, that means there are 4 episodes that won't have scenes on this list. So starting off, we have literally the first scene in the show. Welcome to Haven isn't a bad episode. In fact, RWBY has a really good track record of having solid first episodes, and on the whole, this might be the best one. But this scene is systemic to what might be the biggest flaw in RWBY's production: laziness. Characters teleport in between shots. The entire city of Haven, one of our only glimpses of that city, mind you, is rendered in 2D paintings, but more importantly, it shows that nobody on RWBY watches their own show. So this scene got through a writer, director, producer, half a dozen voice actors, all the technical crew members, and the editors, and nobody chose to raise their hand and say, weren't they already in Mistral at the end of Volume 4, like, in rooms with Crow still recovering and RWBY writing that letter? Are we just going to act like that's not canon now? Episodes 2 and 3 might have the odd bad scene, but nothing as story-breaking as Ren's monologue in Episode 4, Lighting the Fire.
Some say your personality and character can define your semblance. Of course, there are still many who don't see a connection at all.
Again, this isn't a bad episode, but this is one of the worst scenes in the volume. Here's the thing. Philosophy is fine, multiple interpretations is fine, but aura and semblance are quantifiable. It's not like hope or fear or love. They have meters with numbers and everything, and numbers mean math. And in math, if you can find one example in which a rule doesn't apply, then it's not a rule, it's false. If there's any one person with no correlation between semblance and character, then there's no correlation for anyone. RWBY really had something with just as much creative potential as Stan's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and they decided to be lazy and vague instead. Episode 5 was a ripe hot mess and nothing but bad scenes, but I chose Oscar and RWBY's scene for this. The show had already irreparably screwed Oscar.
Get out of my head!
But this was the perfect time for a brief flashback. Show what it was Osmond said to convince him to leave home, but nope. Instead, we have a wildly out-of-character breakdown that never comes up again. Then we're told that RWBY is super amazing because she's able to still smile or whatever. I get that remaining positive in the face of adversity is RWBY's entire appeal and the main theme of the show, but similar shows like My Hero Academia actually show these challenges, making those smiles all the more meaningful. RWBY doesn't, so it comes off as just a hollow platitude. Episode 6 has... Wait, what happened in Episode 6? Oh yeah, Raven's exposition dump. I'm lumping this in with the exact same scene from the next episode because it's one of the worst things in the entire series, but the next episode has an even more unforgivably bad scene. So, possessing a boy's body? Perfectly fine. Turning into birds? And episode 7 is even worse.
It's been a long time. We've all grown in our own ways. Think back to when we were all at Beacon. Would you say you ever did anything foolish or embarrassing?
There's no excuse for this. If you have to spend an entire scene assuring the audience that the characters have changed without anything to show for it, you have completely failed as a visual medium. Episode 8 doesn't have any of the worst scenes, but episode 9 has too many to count. So what will it be? Blake's son and Gira standing around for a whole minute while the Fox brothers are immobilized? Ilya waiting for Blake even though Blake was supposed to be taken away?
Yuma, with me. You two, get her to the docks.
Cinder screwing up the entire plan to settle the score with RWBY? No, I have to go with Raven joining with Cinder to steal the relic because she won Salem off her back by keeping the one thing Salem wants and is willing to destroy an entire city to get. 10 out of 10. Perfect logic, Raven, because nothing will get someone to leave you alone like purposely keeping the thing they want. Episode 11 is a hot mess. I'd recommend watching Floofartist's breakdown of the entire Haven fight, but far and away the worst story problem with this episode and this entire battle is Cinder.
The first fight of the first volume, setting up a logical narrative throughline, 2 openings hyping up this encounter, spending 2 whole volumes of a murder boner for RWBY, feelings of hatred so intense that it derails Aeon's entire plan to get even. Screw all that. This boy is sad that he killed his sorta kinda not really girlfriend, so I'm gonna focus on him instead.
Episode 12 has 2 things fighting for the top spot. One of them is a potentially lore-breaking twist for twist's sake, and the other is a dumbass character beat that makes one of the cooler villains into a pathetic idiot. And if you know where my writing priorities lay, you know Hazel's backstory was worse. AMAs don't matter. They can always change it to where you can become a maiden in your 40s and fix the plot hole with Raven. There's no going back from the Grimm killing your sister, so you blame Ozpin and join the leader of the Grimm. 13 also had the pick of the litter. Raven not cutting off Cinder's arm after it's established she can. This line.
I just need him to go down!
Emerald being unable to take one step to the side in the time it takes Yang to turn around and run past her. Emerald and Mercury not shooting Ruby and Yang while their backs are turned. But y'all know what's the worst. And episode 14's worst scene is Yang and Raven's conversation because it lampshades most of the other bad scenes in this volume. Just because the show points out how much of a paint-swilling moron Raven is, doesn't change the fact that she is in fact a paint-swilling moron. Well, that was fun. Maybe I'll revisit this concept for other volumes. Maybe I'll flip it and do the top 10 best scenes in the volume. Hopefully volume 6 doesn't have as many bad scenes, but I won't hold my breath. I don't want to suffocate and die. I'm Mediocrity4. Thanks for watching.